5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Now go home and get your fucking shine box.
Welcome, everybody, to Go Get Your Shine Box, a gritty, real-world view podcast that tells it like it is. What say you guys?
Aloha.
No aloha. There is no aloha. All right.
Now, let's do this preface here because I had a discussion with Joe earlier, and technical issues aside, we're gonna move forward with that. He did listen to. I keep forgetting her name. I keep wanting to say Tesla.
Tulsi Gabbard.
Tesla Gabbard.
Tulsi.
Tulsi Gabbard.
I listened to her podcast today.
Yeah, who is Samoan, by the way, not Hawaiian.
Well, same thing. Chinese, Japanese, whatever. So it was, and she did something on the Second Amendment, right, Joe?
Yeah, she.
So I mean, I'm going to give her a little attitude.
She said that the Second Amendment shall not be infringed.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I mean,
you guys are easy, man.
You know, I can't do this. I had a rough day today. I actually worked today, so.
Well, this is where you get to forget about work and concentrate on your politics.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't even have to be politics. It could just be general,
Yeah. Well, she had what the hell is it? Scalise on as her guest speaker.
Oh, yeah.
And they were talking about his almost execution.
By the supporter of the left.
By that psychopath Democratic asshole that
voted for Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, you're gonna have to. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Now, what I don't understand is these people are so stupid. He had an SKS with a 40-round magazine.
With a clip. Yeah.
Well, no, but 40 SKSs don't have magazines.
No, I know.
Come on.
He had a bayonet too. A bayonet lug. There was a bayonet lug on it.
Oh man, it's just.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter because he went after the accepted group that it's okay to hurt.
Yeah. And while we're talking about, just for the record, I don't care. I don't give a two rats behind about how many times Pelosi got hit in the head with a hammer by his gay lover. I just want to get that out there. The whole story is a distraction, and I don't care. And I don't care if they don't want they don't want to cover the story because I don't want to hear about it anymore.
All right. Well, you heard about the Capitol Police have a direct line CCTV feed, right?
Of course they do. Okay. Of course they do. I think the same company that put it in the Pelosi house was the same company that put it in Weinstein's cell. Yeah.
But talking about the Pelosi thing, and I have not verified this because suffice it to say, some shit just can't be unseen. All right.
Yeah. But
supposedly, if you Google homos and hammers, you will see something.
Like a gerbil thing, right?
Something like that. That might be, from what I understand, it might be worse than the gerbil.
No,
I don't know what that means. What does that mean?
Thank you for that. He's just like, you know what? This night is getting darker and darker. Okay.
Okay.
Oh my God.
And didn't I specifically
getting started?
Let me get a word in here. Didn't I just say I didn't want to talk about that?
Well, I mean, he was like, there were two grown men in their underwear as the police got there, like deer in the headlights, right? What are you doing?
Well, let me tell you, publicly, I want to make a public statement on how many times I was caught in a house alone with another guy in his underwear. Okay, I'm going to count how many. None, 0, never. I mean, and this guy's 82.
Yeah, I'm sorry. This whole thing stinks. Joe, have you seen?
That's the point. They like that stinkhole.
Yeah, Joe, did you see the picture of Nancy Pelosi's January 6th documentary cameraman?
No, I did
Yeah,
not.
looks just like him. Yeah.
The guy looks an awful lot like Hammer Dude.
Yeah.
And supposedly he's got a house in Richmond or lived there.
Yeah. For a homeless guy, that's pretty good. Yeah.
Has he committed suicide yet?
Yeah.
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
Well, this is what happens when you order up a freaking male prostitute and you refuse to pay. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, so Twitter, okay?
Oh boy.
Free at last, or has this bird flown? Okay, we talk about we were having a little spat earlier about tech. This could go either way because I don't give a crap about Twitter either.
I don't either, but I really enjoyed the new fact checkers. So
yeah,
that was pretty good.
Yeah, somebody's got to fact check that.
Well,
yeah,
I don't know.
He fact checked Biden in a couple of points, and as Biden said, his tweet started out with, "Let me give you some facts." And it was really, you're lying, basically. So.
Well, he gets out of bed and his feet touch the floor, and he's got 4 Pinocchios. So
I mean, I know that all politicians lie, but this guy is not good at it. Okay.
Well, you're supposed to insert a little truth once in a while, just to throw off the smart people.
The stupidity that comes out of his mouth is just amazing.
Here's my hypothesis: they know that half the country will believe their lies, so they just lie. And if you add that to the election fortification power that they have, that's all they need.
Well, they're getting 47% of the vote. If Biden, if he pulled his face off and it showed that it was a machine underneath, they're still getting 40% of the vote.
Yeah.
Well, he's not because he's not going to run again, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, the machine.
Yeah, they're already testing the waters on that. I think it was Washington Post had a editorial or opinion column, a guy saying that both Biden and
his lookalike,
the knee pads. What's her name?
Kamala.
Kamala.
Can't run in 2024.
No. But anyway, a couple questions for you. And Paul, you could be. We'll crown you as the resident Twitter expert on. Is Twitter the town hall of ideas? And I say the town hall of ideas as it's being. You
chose the right expert because Paul's the only one that's on Twitter.
Yeah, that's not the way to look at it.
Well, please enlighten us.
Thank you.
I will. You were getting back to the 418 posse. I was going to bring out the Dunning-Kruger.
Or 326. I don't know. 27, 28.
That was a Pontiac.
Twitter is 100% the tail that wags the dog. This is where all the opinions are tested and formulated.
Can you mute him?
I can, but I want to throw some stats at him because I want to understand because I really do. When people are staunch, take staunch positions on certain things, I want to understand for the most part. 2020 specs claims that Twitter has worldwide, I believe this is a worldwide, 396.5 million users.
Yeah.
This is the part that baffles me. And again, the revenue in 2020, Twitter brought in $3.72 billion in revenue. Now, to you and me and everybody on this within listening range, that's a lot of money. It was just purchased for $44 billion, though.
Yeah.
So I'm just missing out on a few things here.
Yeah, because there wasn't obviously, and you already know the answer to this. Twitter was not valued by the money it brought in. Right. Twitter was valued on what influence you could have on people.
No, that's a really good point. And another thing, and I'm going to jump around a little bit, but Paul, jump in because I know you got the answers.
To be on Paul's side here, we haven't really let him jump in too much. So
discussion is over. It's the tail that wags the dog, man.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna have to hit a soundboard for that one. And this is something that's interesting too. The popular range. There's outliers, but the popular range of age use is 25 to 34, which is a really crappy demographic for actual thought pattern.
None of that matters. None of those stats matter.
Yeah, absolutely matters, because it comes down to the question: who uses Twitter?
I'll tell you who uses it. Every single government official, every single NGO, every single person of influence in the cultural and political spheres, every single one uses Twitter. Those are the only people that matter. The 25-year-old retards, they don't matter. They come there and shit post or whatever. None of it matters.
Yeah, I understand that, and I'm not gonna sum it up, obviously, but I'm gonna say that statistically, so-called heavy tweeters, people, obviously that means people that use Twitter, twit, whatever the most, they're responsible for 90% of the tweets and half the company's revenue, despite making up less than 10% of monthly users. So who the frig is it influencing?
I just told you.
But I interrupted you, so I didn't hear a thing you said.
Politicians, journalists, academics, judges.
So it's an echo chamber, is what you're saying.
Well, it's where, we always talk about it's a big club and you're not in it.
Yeah.
Well, Twitter is where the club meets to decide what they're going to do and what they're going to talk about and which way the country's going.
So it's Bohemian Grove.
Yeah, something like that.
That's what you think.
Well, it's not Bohemian Grove. They're not on there worshiping a freaking owl.
We don't know that, but with Jack Dorsey as the CEO previously, that could have very well been done virtually.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the new owner probably goes to Bohemian Grove or
one of those. Yeah. So. But I've heard it said the marketplace of ideas, and I'm just I go back to the tree in the forest. It makes no difference to me. So I'm trying to figure out of all the people in this country, we talked about these stats before, the majority of this country isn't on Twitter. So what you're telling me is the few people that run 90%, the 10% that run 90% are the ones being influential, and we don't realize they're influencing our lives somehow.
Right.
Well, then maybe more people should be on Twitter then.
Well, there are good things about Twitter. Obviously, Trump knew this. That's why Trump became president largely because of Twitter.
And don't forget, when Trump got thrown off of Twitter, so did millions of people. Just dropped it.
Yeah,
as soon as they kicked Trump off, I shut my account off. That never been on since. Screw him.
I'm very disappointed in that Elon hasn't instantaneously resurrected some of these accounts. Now I don't know if he's succumbing to threats by the government, which we know the government's threatening them with investigations. Maybe threatening. They've already talked about nationalizing Starlink. They're investigating SpaceX. They're investigating the Twitter deal, the Department of Justice. So he's under a lot of pressure. I don't know where this is going to go. I would like to hope that he does the right thing, but we can't count on it. But if he does, this could bring down the whole, remember that movie, Law Abiding Citizen?
Yeah.
It's going to be biblical. I'm going to bring the whole rotten cathedral down, or whatever he said,
Yeah.
We can only hope.
So my question is, if this is an echo chamber and the left, by virtue of the DOJ, the presidency, whoever's going to come after him, they're doing that for one reason, so that your voice can't be heard. The conservative voice can't be heard. So again, I go back to my original question, and this isn't just for the sake of argument. This is a legitimate question, I think, but you let me know. what is the point then? Okay, the point of Twitter up until supposedly Musk changing his, the whole structure, it was an echo chamber. It was a bunch of people communicating with each other and patting each other on the back and circle jerking each other because they all agreed and they were bouncing off their ideas off somebody who was definitely going to say, that's really great. We don't want any outside influence or any outside conservatism because we're going to ban everybody from the president on down. So what is the point?
Yeah, that's a fair question. And, obviously there are personalities still on Twitter who have been very careful not to break the TOS, to try to sort of walk that tightrope. But they're marginalized, and the voices, the big voices, have all been offed. So the question is, okay, do we surrender? Because where else are you going to go?
Well, that was kind of a point I was going to bring up. Is this now, if we now have a fair and balanced discussion on Twitter, and I'll concede for a minute for the sake of argument, is this just another social media outlet now? He wants to charge for a blue check box. And personally, I'm on Truth Social. I refuse to follow anybody that has a check mark. That's just my thing. I don't care about your pretentious little check mark. Except for Trump, it's on there.
That's why he wants to charge for it.
Yeah. So it becomes a moot point.
The point is that if the charges for it, then you or Paul or myself, we can get a check if we want.
It automatically
anybody can get one.
It sort of levels the playing field a little bit.
Yes.
So that because you look at a blue check mark, writer for the Washington Post or think tank dude, has a blue check mark. These are psychological operations for a reason, to give them more credibility.
Which is exactly why I refuse to follow anybody with this pretentious check mark.
If he charges for it and then he allows anybody to have one, then all of a sudden it doesn't mean the same.
Right.
Well, and these leftists are going to sit there and they're going to cry because now they're not special.
Well, they can cry. That's fine.
Well, most leftists don't have blue check marks. That's only the journalist class, politicians, that sort
other
of thing.
Elitists. Yeah.
Your basic the crazy leftists, the ones who get I don't know, Kanye West destroyed over some Jew question.
Yeah, I don't even know. That's another show.
These guys, well, no, it's the same thing, but these guys are largely the ones that are on there, and they do what's called brigading, and they go after the corporations and say, "Did you see what blah blah blah? Did you see what he did?"
Start the cancellation process.
Have your thing You know what I mean? If this guy's on Twitter and you're putting ads on Twitter, I'm from the New York Times. Can you explain to me why you're still on Twitter if Musk allows this guy to talk on, you know what I mean? That kind of thing.
Yeah. So I mean, now he's talking about a paywall for adult content.
Yeah, I didn't see that story. I would rather he just gets rid of porn altogether. But going back to the JQ, they're never going to allow that to happen. That is. I mean,
it's like, what is this? What is that called? Twitter only fan or only page or whatever. I don't know. I'm not hip to the today's porn talk. But
OnlyFans is not Twitter. OnlyFans.
No. I'm just saying. Musk said he was considering a paywall for
adult content.
For adult content. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that go by briefly. I didn't look into it.
Yeah.
I would just rather not he doesn't have that at all.
I saw Devin Nunes, or Nunes, as they call him, on one of the shows this weekend. I think it was. He was comparing the two and saying What the heck is that? Somebody got an ice tray?
That's Joe.
He's pouring himself a scotch.
He's got to.
Okay, so I gotta, it's a 12-year-old. Okay,
I'm talking over here. I hear ice.
I don't put ice in my scotch. Okay.
Oh
This isn't the scotch episode.
I know that's going to be like episode 31.
Here you go.
Okay.
Oh, thanks a lot.
But anyway, I was derailed from my train of thought. What the heck?
Oh, look what I found.
So,
a ball jar.
A ball jar. Yeah. Okay.
With some corn liquor in it.
You guys are just go ahead and drink. Okay. While I get back on my track here.
Go ahead.
So basically, what Net Nunes was saying, he wants to take the best of Instagram or whatever, and incorporate that and have that kind of a more not family oriented, but more of a multiple combined with Rumble because they have a deal, and work that out where Twitter is going to stay in that quote unquote influential type of realm. Unless any Tom, Dick, or Harry can buy the stupid blue thing, and then I can have a paywall and produce freaking porn on the side. I don't know, but it just seems...
I don't know. There is a possibility that this whole thing crashes and burns, and Rumble and Truth Social and Gab will be big beneficiaries of it.
Yeah, I don't think that Elon Musk is going to crumble and burn after he spent all that money.
Well, it wouldn't be on purpose, but if he pisses everybody off the way he's talking, I want to hear voices. He met with the ADL to develop their hate speech policy.
Well,
he says, come on.
I'm as suspect of him, and I always have been, as you are of Tulsi.
Tulsi.
I'm gonna have to write that down. I just can't. Yeah, I can't get that name. That's a weird name. Tulsi Gabbard. I've always said back when he put his 2 weeks in with Trump, he made a big portion of his money off of the backs of our taxpayers.
Yeah.
In the form of oh look, I'm going to invent electric cars like they haven't been invented before. All I need is about $300 billion from the United States government to get started.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I am more suspicious of Musk than I am of Tulsi. Musk is on my Antichrist list, so let's not be confused here.
Well, I got to tell you, as far as that goes, I did read that. I had to double read that this afternoon because I was like, well, he ain't bringing a whole bunch of people together.
Well, yeah,
this guy is suddenly is enemy number one to half the country.
And the Antichrist was going to be a Syrian Jew. So
but there will be many Antichrists.
Not a South African.
No, I'm not talking.
Oh, you're talking anti dash Christ. Gotcha.
Right.
So I mean, well, let me get back to Twitter. Is this? Yeah, I guess it depends on the takeover. But again, I'll ask you: is this the death of an echo chamber?
I don't know. It's too early to tell. I'm not pleased with the way I was happy in the beginning because he seemed to be like giving the middle finger to everybody.
Yeah.
All right. The past 2 days when he's talking about meeting with these groups, not only the ADL but Knowledge Tree or whatever this freaking group was, she is still working there as like head of trust and safety now. This lady ran a bot farm. You remember Roy Moore down in Georgia or Alabama? This group bought Russian bots and had them follow Roy Moore's account so that they could leak stories into the press saying that he was a Russian stooge. And of course, the media ran with it.
Well, yeah, it had Russia and stooge in the same sentence. Of course they did.
And they came out and admitted it. They were proud of it, what they did, and they took the election from them.
Well, that's why I told you any Tom, Dick, or Harry that's on the Democratic ticket is going to get 47% of the vote because there is at least 40% of the electorate that has a very, very low IQ. So that's built in.
Yeah.
They just do it because I have to do it. I heard a story about some guy in Pittsburgh working for the union up there. He was asked how he was voting. Well, Democrat, of course. Well, why on earth would you vote? You live in Pittsburgh. Used to be one of the most, rich. Yeah. Well, the unions tell us we have to. It's the only way we can get a raise. So they're basically being extorted.
And it's such bullshit. My union has been sending out emails, sending out letters about voting for freaking Fetterman. You don't know who Fetterman is probably up here.
Yeah, I do. Oh,
Are you out of your mind? Not voting. I wouldn't vote for Fetterman if I was a stone asshole Democrat. I wouldn't vote for him.
Fetterneck.
Whatever.
Fester. Yeah. And what on earth does a mumbling, stroke victim have in common with being a senator?
Nothing.
I guess I guess on the left.
They got away with it for president.
Yeah, I guess that was a dumb statement. I withdraw.
That is true.
They'll just chop his thumb off and push the button, with it. Vote yes on Democrat stuff.
Yeah, that's absolutely crazy. And then, of course,
getting off subject, but did you hear that he had an interview with Don Lemon.
Don Lemon. Yeah.
And man, what a train wreck.
Oh man, he just fumbled through the question. I thought it was Biden. I mean, my God, the man he's not there.
Cognitively impaired.
He's not there. Okay, it's insane. If that guy wins, just like maybe I'm just gonna jump off a building. I don't know, because there's no sense in it anymore.
Well, Pennsylvania's an odd state. It's first in oil, as we all know, hence Oil City. But if you took Harrisburg out of the picture, Philadelphia out of the picture, and half of Pittsburgh, just half, because believe it or not, Pittsburgh is fairly conservative. You'd never see a Democrat in that state.
Yeah.
Because the majority of the state from coast to coast is hardworking country folk and Amish.
You saw the picture I sent you today from Philadelphia.
Yeah, and again, I'm not sure, Joe, in today's day and age, I'm not sure if that's
I didn't see it. It didn't come on Signal.
Yeah.
It did.
Yeah.
Oh, did it? Okay.
Yeah. So that could have been put there by a Democrat or Republican, because the fact of the matter is, if you don't want racism, don't vote for Democrats.
I'm driving through the city, Paul. Block after block after block, there was like 6 to 10 signs at every stinking intersection. Jim, what did it say?
I'll pull it up in here. It said, and the one I saw was on the blinker, on a street light.
All the same sign.
Yeah. Did it go? It says it's blue on the top and red on the bottom with white lettering. Stop the racists. Vote November 8th. So to be perfectly honest with you, that could be, a Republican could put those up, and it would be accurate.
Okay, I just assumed that was Jimmy. Oh, okay, all right.
When was Jimmy in Philadelphia?
With the red light, stop the racist, blah blah blah. I just assumed that was Jimmy texting that. Since you're never on there,
Okay.
So my
apologies
that you wandered on there for a moment.
Okay, if you want to go, we can go.
Well,
I'm glad that you finally figured out how to post stuff to Signal. Okay. I'm very proud of you.
Oh, I'm not getting into it, Joe, anymore tonight. Unless we talk automobiles, because I know a lot about that. So.
Hey, you know what? You know a lot more than you let off to be. I mean, Paul, my brother Jimmy changed wheel bearings on a front-wheel drive car with.
Really?
Oh yeah, with a freaking hammer, a claw hammer, vice grips, a pipe wrench. Hey,
I had it was like a 48 millimeter socket too, or something. It was big. It was like. Yeah.
I was impressed, man. I was really impressed.
That's years of systematic osmosis from hanging around with you, Joe,
Yeah.
It must have been.
Yeah. I know. I kind of if I think back, I kind of like kick myself for not getting more into that, because now is when you're like, I like to put together a car. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You may have the opportunity to revive some, shall we say, pre-electronics vehicles.
Right, and you know what?
Yeah, like Mel Gibson. Yeah.
It's never too late to start. I mean, you definitely have the basic skills. I mean, I don't think it would be too difficult for you. Let's face it. Okay, I'm a mechanic for 40 years now? Oh, God. And
wow.
It ain't rocket science, okay?
No.
It's a lot of common sense.
But ironically, you could probably build a rocket that would go further than me.
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
All that being said, I lift the hood on my car, and I could throw a dime in the engine compartment on an Acura and it won't hit the ground.
Liz asked me to look at her car. She was leaking antifreeze, right? So I go over her house and she's got a Range Rover. And I opened the hood. There's a supercharged V8 under the hood. I couldn't see it. Like you said, I couldn't see anything, but like there was no daylight anywhere. I closed the hood. I told her, honey, take it to the dealer. Yeah. I'm done.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you my today's car maintenance story. My power steering's been making some noise. So I popped the hood. I'm checking the fluids, put in a little oil, a little antifreeze. Go to the power steering. I got no power steering fluid.
Nice.
Grab a jug of chain oil for a chainsaw. I'm like, yeah, whatever. It's oil.
Oil. Did it work?
It worked. I mean, it's oil. You know what I mean?
It just clamped a little.
You probably tightened it up a little bit, you know?
You just got to check the viscosity here.
It was like I had my thumb out. It's like, yeah, that looks about right. You know?
I don't know. I just got my oil change the other day. I brought it up to the stay in your car 5 minutes. I'm like, all right, you know.
But here's the thing: the YouTube knowledge crowd would be like all over me. Joe, what do you think of my solution?
Perfect.
40-year mechanic.
It works, right? I would have put olive oil in there. That's what all I had.
Olive oil. I would have put olive oil. Olive oil is pretty
too expensive.
If that's all I had and I had to go, no problem. No problem.
But anyway, to wrap up this Twitter thing, here's the ultimate question for me. Again, I'm just spitting this out there. To censor or not to censor? What is the question here?
Well, for my part, I would censor. I think freedom of speech is a Luciferian concept. I think we should have blasphemy laws. None of this LGBT bullshit should ever be allowed.
It kind of reminds me of like Sharia law here. So.
Wait a minute.
This aggression will not stand, man.
You just want to eliminate the First Amendment altogether?
I tell you, he's radical. We need an intervention over here.
You know, I've said this before. There isn't a name for what I am.
Well,
there is a name.
We can try.
Yeah, I absolutely would. Any of this homo shit off. You say that not only that.
Any of you homos touch me?
I kill you.
Yeah.
Well, let me just say this about that. If somebody posts something, and again, I probably won't ever go back on Twitter, but it's neither here nor there. Freedom of speech is freedom of speech. If somebody says something like like that guy who thinks he's a girl and goes sits down with the president. If you want to say that in America, or if you want to pretend, you want to dress up like you're a girl, that's your freaking sick fantasy. Knock yourself out. But then on the flip side, it's my right to sit there and say, yeah, you know what? You're really not a girl, okay? I don't care what you drank, what you snipped, how you grow your hair. You can sit there and live out your freak fantasy in front of the president of the United States, but I can also sit there and say, that's cute, but you're not a freaking girl. You never will be. So right. That's where the freedom of speech, or I should say the censor or not the censor, comes in. Under their laws, the Twitter laws previous to hopefully Musk, if you said, no, you're not a woman, and again, I don't care what kind of panties you wear, you're still a guy, you're off. Hate speech. That's hate speech. When to me, if you're a man and you dress up like a woman, you're a perverted man with some kind of it's almost like a misogynistic anti-woman thing, because of those, they don't even emulate women like women are in real life. That's the sickening part. But anyway, so
how do you feel about underwear and hammers?
Well, once again, Joe, let me reiterate what I said at the beginning of this. You can't count, because it's zero. The number is zero on how many times I was in a house alone with another guy in our underwear. Zero. For everybody out there, I'm going to say it one more time. That's never happened. Have I ever had a hammer in my hand running around my house by myself in my underwear? Yeah. No, I'm obviously I'm kidding. Yeah, but yeah, that's if you want to be a freak, not like I don't agree with anything that Bruce Springsteen says except one part of one song where he says, "Do what you like, just don't do it here."
Yeah, so, that's libertarian, and that to me that's just partway down the slope to libertinism, and I disagree with it all. But like I said, you're more realistic. My views would never be instituted unless there was some sort of horrific
unless there was a king.
Yeah.
King, if you were King Paul.
Right.
Well, it was Paul Island. Yeah.
Then I would have to. I hope that would be on the staff.
But if you look in the Bible, there's no chapter that says constitutional republic. There's kings. So right. Yeah, I would absolutely eliminate freedom of speech. It's an evil. You guys will come to understand this sooner or later.
On which hand do you wear your ring? So I know which one to kiss.
Well, I don't.
This is Sparta.
Yeah, something like that.
Oh man!
But, I mean, if you think about it, pornography, communism, LGBTQ, pedophilia, all this stuff it was allowed to infect because of freedom of speech.
We're running into a different topic here. No, that's the perversion of freedom of speech. Okay, this was what was allowed to happen started in 1935, and I'm a broken record on this. That's when it happened, when the leftover communists that lost came back into the country and infiltrated and took over Hollywood with some of your favorite folks. And that's when it started, the slow cooking perversion, the slow frog boiling in the water, in the warm water. That's what happened. You could call it freedom of speech if you want, because, of course, the crazy left judges that were appointed and paid for through many, many different lefty avenues, they're the ones coming out saying, "Oh no, urinating on a crucifix is art." Well, no, it's clearly not art. And so that's it wasn't per se freedom of speech. It was a perversion of the accepted freedom of speech as written in the Constitution. But
right. But what do you think? Well, they didn't understand it back then when they made the Constitution. I'm not calling.
Well, there was no perversion back then.
Well,
there's been perversion since Sodom and Gomorrah.
I think they probably.
There was just Bush back then.
Yeah, to talk to Benjamin Franklin.
I don't want to. Yeah, I mean, I don't know who bet who, but
I don't know, but I heard he was kind of a freak, so let's just leave it at that.
Yeah, I'm sure there was a lot of freaks, and I don't, I don't know that everybody had that ever signed a document or formed a document throughout the years, especially pertaining to the United States, knew exactly what was going to happen, but they had a pretty good idea. I don't know if they knew that the perversion, and I don't mean the literal perversion, but the perversion of the system would have taken such a stronghold. But Joe McCarthy knew that, and he was ostracized too. And now look, and Machiavelli, by the way, was that wasn't an evil thing either, but it is now in today's newspeak. But nobody wants to do the work and look back into history, this stuff. So this is where we end up with. We end up having legislators that don't fall into their own laws, the judicial who makes laws that's not supposed to, and in Trump's case, the executive branch that is beholden to the legislative branch, which is an absolute abortion of the Constitution.
And let's look at it. And don't forget, you talk about history in the past. They want to eliminate. They want that erased.
Yeah.
So
well,
they don't want to bring that back.
Yeah, that goes back to Mao and the 4 pillars or whatever they called it. Is that right, Jim?
Yes.
You get rid of language, history, custom. I don't remember what all 4 were. Religion. Yeah, that's exactly what's happening.
And the idealists that wanted to do these things. We all know the whole. The 100 million people died because of most of this nonsense from the 5 or 6 great murderers of the 20th century. It doesn't work. It didn't work. People died. They died. The establishments fell apart. Even Russia China's more communist than Russia. But that's again, I keep saying another show. But the fact of the matter is, you try pulling that crap in the United States and you see what happens. First, we go through the legalities of it. But if we fell apart as a full-on anarchist country, the very people that were wishing for the change are going to be the first to get buried in mass graves and covered over with bulldozers, which is a really, really sick, sad thought. But unfortunately, that's the way it happens.
I can run a bulldozer.
Yeah, there's that.
Yeah, aren't you supposed to be gathering me a key ring or something, Joe?
Oh boy, we are recording, fellas.
We talked about this a long time ago.
Oh, I didn't know you were serious. I'll give you one.
But anyway, that's what happens, and none of this stuff comes to fruition. Well, I take that back. It does. Hundreds of millions of people die. We learn from the lesson, and then they try to do it all over again and say, we can do it better. I feel sorry for this generation coming up that thinks they can do it better because they can't freaking roll a round wheel down a hill.
Yeah, we have a real problem with the coming generations.
Yeah,
the Gen Z and millennials.
For sure.
Moving into power.
Not all, but most. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well, you have to generalize when you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, as we always do. Yeah, there's not too many bright ones out there, and the ones that are out there are hopefully right-leaning. But I couldn't see the average high school kid going through college and winding up in Congress. You'd have somebody like little Sandy Cortez who is just the most. There's a bartender who couldn't make a gin and tonic. Okay, that's all you got to say.
And the upcoming,
she needed to look in the book to see what the ingredients were.
Yeah, exactly.
The Gen Z, they're more, they're very anti-establishment,
right?
But they're not really conservative. So you've heard that trope pushed out. That's baloney.
Yeah. I don't get the whole Gen whatever. What?
Yeah, that's
go through them real quick. What are we?
We're
boomers.
Me and you, we're all three of us are boomers. We're on the tail end of the boomers. Boomers. Like I joke that I'm like the last of the boomers. I'm going to turn the lights out when I go.
Yeah. We're like one generation, but after the greatest generation.
Yeah, and for all the grief boomers take, the greatest generation gave us civil rights and affirmative action and all that, which is objectively the worst thing that ever happened.
The boomers were lazy. They didn't
No.
They didn't grab the flag and run with it.
You know what the boomers did? The boomers spoiled their kids.
Yeah, and they were greedy and
Yeah. So, but anyway.
But, any other generation presented with the same zeitgeist, the same time period and economics, they would have done the same thing, if not worse.
But
so
I gotta say, okay, I guess I'm a boomer. Jimmy, you're a boomer.
Yeah.
Paul, you're a boomer. Our kids they got their minds pretty straight.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we're different. We're not average. Again, we're talking about the group.
Yeah, but I guess but I don't know. I mean, I raised my kids I thought normal. I don't think I was I didn't push politics on them. I really didn't.
No, you didn't. It's not like you put a white robe on them with a hood and beat them with a stick.
No, but, my daughter, my God, she is so right. It's not even funny. I laugh when I hear her. She calls me up because she hears shit on the news, and she's like, "Dad, can you believe this crap?" And she goes off. She can't even freaking believe it. I mean, and I know that your kids are the same way, and it's just funny. It just looked to me like we didn't do anything. We weren't like crazy right wingers. We just lived our lives.
Just try to make a living,
we just lived free.
I think I'd like to have Liz do a guest spot. Sorry, I don't know if you want to use her name, but it's too late now.
That's fine.
All right, but
we can post it out. Don't worry.
I think we'd have some fun, me and her. Maybe I could further radicalize her.
I don't know, Paul. She's. Let me tell you something. She aligns with you much. It's kind of scary.
Well, you guys want to wrap up Twitter? Any final closing comments?
Yeah, I hope that Elon does the right thing. I mean, it seems like he is, and You know what?
Now,
Good
he
for her.
said that they're not going to make any changes for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And I can understand if he's trying to slow roll this ahead of the elections, because really, what kind of impact is it going to have on the elections right now anyway? Opening up these accounts, other than to get Democrats
Pissed
riled up
off.
and
Yeah.
screaming. So maybe he does it after the elections. And I
Yeah.
will remind everybody, go out and vote. Tuesday, November 8th, by the way, is the first ever blood moon on election night. So
Yeah.
I don't know if that means anything, but
And if you're in California, don't expect results for 30 days. So
Right.
yeah, well, they're already putting that out.
Yeah.
And we definitely have to get out and vote, like Paul said, because we've got to stop the racists. So vote Republican and stop the racists.
Yeah, I don't care about racism at all.
Come on, just go with me here, will you?
Not even.
And don't forget to listen to us on Rumble and YouTube. And you can contact us at shineboxcontact@gmail.com. So
Very good. Yeah. Any topic suggestions? Throw them up in the chat or in the email, and
we'll follow up. All right. From
We'll
Central Florida, I'm calling it a night.
Yeah, from Central New Germany, aloha.
and from the last red county in New Jersey, God's country out here near Pennsylvania, I'll say goodnight.
Ciao.